So, Three Petitions to the Lord by Anson Bowen Call. This was taken from an audio recording by my father while he was in Mexico City, and it was transcribed by Francis. And so there'll be some quotes throughout it. So, Eran had a conversation with Papa Call. They were sitting on the back wash bench on the back porch, and Papa Call was shelling corn and tossing it to the chickens to eat and talking with Eran. Eran was a senior in high school, and he was dating Ludine Lunt. And during the conversation, Papa Call asked, "My boy, why don't you marry this girl?" And Eran was shocked and surprised and responded, "Well, Father, I don't have any money to get married or to buy a diamond ring." And Papa responded, "Well, we could probably help you with that. There are men going into the poultry business, and I could set you up with some coops and 500 laying hens if you wanted to get married." And Eran didn't quite understand his haste and replied, "Papa, I plan to go on a mission. I'm hoping to go to college and could very likely be called into the military service in the United States. Marriage is a long way off for me. What's the big hurry?" Papa responded, "Well, my boy, you're in my plans. It's important to me you get married." Eran replied, "It's important to me to get married too, but I'm not ready. I'm only 18 years old." "Well, I want to see all of my children happily married before I die," Papa said. And Eran said, "That's fine, but there's still 3 of us that are single." And so the 3 youngest children were Ruth, and she was serving a mission in Mexico. Arnold was in the US Navy in San Diego, and Eran is a senior in high school. And Grandpa Call was 84 years old at the time. Their conversation continued. Eran said, "Papa, you're expecting quite a lot, aren't you? Expecting to see 3 of us married happily in the temple. Aren't you expecting too much?" Papa said, no, I'm not expecting too much. It'll happen, I'm very sure." Well, he told Eran, "My boy, I've prayed fervently to the Lord to grant me 3 things, and he has answered my prayers. And I am as sure as I'm sitting here today that they will happen. I will live to see all of my children happily married in the temple. Then I will live to see Aunt Theresa is properly buried. I will be there to preside and be a witness to her funeral and her burial, as I have done for my other 3 wives. Then I will lie down to sleep one day and just not wake up. I will have no pain. I will suffer no sickness. That's the way it will be, my son." Eran was shocked. He was surprised. He couldn't believe what he had heard. So what actually happened? Well, Ruth completed her mission and married John R. Evans in the Salt Lake Temple, June 20th, 1950. Arnold completed his full-time mission and married Glenna Stoll in the Salt Lake Temple, March 19th, 1959. And Eran finished high school and went to BYU as a freshman in 1948. He then served a full-time mission for 2.5 years, and then was called to serve in the US Army in Panama, and he was there for a couple of years. Papa Call was ill, and Eran was able to get a 30-day furlough from the chaplain that he was working with in Panama, and he arrived back in Colonia Lublin to find his father confined to bed in a coma. Dr. Hatch said to prepare for a funeral. During Eran's stay, Papa Call improved, and Eran prepared to return to Panama. Eran said, "I stooped to kiss Father goodbye and said, 'This is probably the last time I'll see you. I have 1 more year in the military.' The feeble, trembling left arm of a great father and marvelous patriarch rested around my shoulders and neck. Pulling me close to his mouth, he said, 'My boy, Where's your faith? I told you I'd be here to see you happily married. Now your concern is not with me. The Lord will take care of me, and I'll be all right. You need to be worthy to enter into the Lord's house to be married. So what happened? He finished his last year of military service, and a year after that, he married Catherine Grosbeck in the Salt Lake Temple, August 24th, 1955. Aunt Theresa and Papa Call were living alone in their home. Charlie and Hannah were helping them, of course. Eran and Kay visited them in August of 1957. Robert Eran Call, that's me, their first child, was 5 months old, and I sat on Grandpa Call's lap. Aunt Theresa passed away 2 months later, October 30th, 1957, peacefully. Papa Call went to bed after listening to his customary KSL radio news at 10:30 p.m. after having received over 100 visitors on New Year's Day. He was 94 years old. Around 2 a.m., Charlie, his son, helped Papa Call to the bathroom, which was normal. In the morning, January 2nd, 1958, Anson Bowen Call passed away without illness or pain. So Dad concluded by saying, what a glorious testimony to me, his youngest son, to have the privilege to be told by his very lips 10 years before his passing, the blessings he had petitioned of the Lord, and that the Lord had assured him of, in fact, came to pass. What a blessing. What a blessing. I think it's a great blessing. Our grandfather, great-grandfather, lived such an honorable life that he would have confidence that Father in heaven would grant unto him these three wishes that he had for the end of his life. And I just hope that we can live in such a way that the Lord will have confidence in us and we in him. Any thoughts or about this? I know I spoke with Dora yesterday, and she was there at the home when all this took place.
I just want to comment, Grandpa's mind was very sharp. The Sunday before he passed away, he even gave a patriarchal blessing. He couldn't see very well or hear very well. He couldn't walk, but his mind was as sharp as it ever was.
And so many of us had our blessings given to us by Grandpa. It was a great privilege to be able to go to Mexico and have our patriarchal blessing in his Aunt Theresa's home as Grandpa gave it to us.
Well, that's wonderful. Great.
I was trying to find that cassette, Rob, because it says fun to hear your father talk about Grandpa Call and the great faith that he had. It was, I mean, all of us would like to probably die in our sleep without illness, and it's one thing to wish that, but to petition the Lord and then to be able to feel that he'd received the assurance that that would take place. Can you imagine? My mother said he never bought any life insurance. He knew how long he was going to live, and he had people that were trying to sell him life insurance. Says, I don't need that. I know how long I'm going to live until all my children are married, and I'll be the last one. I'll be able to see all my wives properly buried.
Yeah, that's great.